What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. I am excited. I will acknowledge that I start every review with some level of excitement. In this case, you might be more excited than I am about today's shoe. From Saucony, the Kinvara 9. Already thrown some shade. It seems that every year, sometime in mid-April, I drop my review of Saucony's latest and greatest version of the Kinvara. Except for last year, and a couple of years ago. So yeah, that's not true. Well, we're back with the newest, latest and greatest, hottest new version of the shoe that I've probably logged more miles on since starting the Ginger Runner than any other road shoe, the Kinvara. Version 9. Yeah, I've seen this shoe change a lot over the years, in dramatic ways, interesting ways, subtle ways, insignificant ways, and here we are with what it has become today. A pretty damn close version to what it was last year. Kinvara 8, meet your overtaker, the Kinvara 9. The too long didn't read version of today's review is as follows. It's pretty much the same shoe. Almost. There are some things that I am not totally stoked on. Before we get to the things I like and dislike about the Kinvara 9, let's talk about how the shoe has changed. There are changes to the mesh upper. Seems to be a softer, stretchier mesh, more comfortable. The Pro Lock across the midfoot seems to have a bit more stretch. Of course, different welded overlays, woven heel support, a little bit reduction in weight there as well. Different placement of rubber elements in the outsole, and the flex screws have changed location. And a nice result of all of the changes, it's lighter by 0.2 ounces in my size 11. Goes from 8.9 to 8.7. So what might feel and look fairly familiar, especially coming from the Kinvara 8, there's actually a number of changes from the previous version. That does not always bode well for a shoe going up a version, and in this case, that is the case. I still prefer the Kinvara 8. Let's find out why. As I've mentioned over the years when reviewing the Kinvaras, a lot of the likes and dislikes from the previous version will carry over into the new version, so feel free to go check out the previous reviews just to see how the shoe has evolved over the years. But of course, this shoe has some specific likes and dislikes. Let's get on with those, starting as always with things that I like about the Saucony Kinvara 9. The new upper. This new mesh is softer, it's really comfortable, it seems to be holding up quite well durability-wise. My initial thoughts were skeptical. I thought the mesh wouldn't hold up well with the elements here in the Pacific Northwest, but so far it's been doing quite well. Not noticing much wear and tear. Despite the fact the shoe is white, which I really dislike, it's remaining fairly clean. So the mesh upper, the welded overlays, the new woven heel and ankle materials here, all very nice, very comfortable. The new upper is a significant improvement. New outsole, don't mind the mud. A new addition are the rubber outsole elements here on the lateral forefoot. One thing I've been harping on with Kinvara since version 1 was just the lateral durability of the shoe. In this case, they've added a couple of rubber elements up there in the forefoot, which is getting a lot of wear and tear anyways. It's nice to see those elements added to contribute to the shoe's durability. They don't contribute a lot to the weight, they do help when they need to. Which brings me to my final like, weight. The shoe is lighter. I will always reward a shoe for being lighter, unless of course it's a detriment to the durability or the comfort of the shoe. But in this case, the shoe lost 0.2 ounces, about 8.7 ounces. It's in that light category, and for a shoe that can go the distance, that's a good thing. Anytime the Kinvara loses a little bit of weight, no matter how insignificant, I will give them a high five, thumbs up, and a smile. Oh boy, but let's get on with the things I dislike about the Kinvara 9. Responsiveness. With the Kinvara 8, I noticed that the shoe was significantly more responsive than the previous version. What was a soft, comfortable shoe that could go the distance started to change into a shoe that was meant to go the distance but also keep you moving forward at a faster rate. I was into it. I hung on with the Kinvara line knowing that the shoe was still getting me through good long runs, races, everything comfortably, despite the loss of some of the cushioning. Almost everything I've seen with the Kinvara 9 hasn't mentioned the fact that the shoe feels more responsive than the Kinvara 8. Supposedly, same midsole, same Everrun layer just below the sock liner and above the midsole material, but it's just not as comfortable. I went as far as to put one of each version on each foot, run around, and I can tell you right now, I still prefer the Kinvara 8. This shoe has over 350 miles on it. This shoe has just around 80, so it's broken in. It's not like it's brand new. The midsole hasn't come alive, whatever the mumbo jumbo is you guys want to believe. The fact is, this shoe is broken in and is not as comfortable as the previous. I have to mention it because no one else is. Outsole wear. I did mention the fact that they included some additional rubber elements up there in the forefoot. I like that, but looking at Kinvara 8, they removed some of the lateral elements in the heel and midfoot, which I think will change the durability of the shoe. This shoe, since version 1, has always had midsole material as the outsole material, and it's actually held up really well, despite what people did not believe in the beginning. I'm seeing wear and tear on the outsole on the Kinvara 9. I anticipate the shoe will do just fine, but the fact that they removed rubber elements, maybe to save some weight, might not help the lateral side of the shoe. It also looks like it got a little bit narrower through the midfoot and heel as well. Finally, the Pro Lock. These two midfoot bandies right there. Get rid of it. Again, I will continue to mention this in every Kinvara review until they are gotten rid of. They don't get in the way like other versions, but they certainly don't help that midfoot feel any better to me. I think the shoe has a good fit as it is. They just add weight, and what is already a fairly tight fitted shoe doesn't need additional elements through that midfoot area. You get rid of it? So, what's my conclusion on the Kinvara 9? It's super similar. If you are a Kinvara fan, you've been running in previous versions, you've been running in the 8, I think you'll like the 9, but I'm still leaning towards the 8. There are micro improvements, things that I really enjoy, but I look at the big picture, and in this case, I'm still reaching for the 8s. Let's get more specific. Build quality. I do enjoy the fact that the materials that they're using in the shoe are about as durable, if not more so, than previous versions. The mesh upper, the heel counter, it weaves itself into a pretty wholesome build quality package that I think will last a good significant amount of mileages. Comfort, this is kind of where it fails for me. It's not quite as comfortable as the previous version. A lot of people may not notice the difference, but as someone who has put on both shoes at the same time, you'll feel it. Trust me, you'll feel it. It's not quite as soft as it was. Fit. I really do like the fit of the Kinvaras. Always have. There's something about the snug, fitted feel of a Kinvara. You do begin to forget that you're actually wearing it, and that's something that I really like in this shoe. It does help in those long runs where you're out there for hours to just not have to worry about retying your shoe or heel slippage or anything like that. I've had no issues in those realms. The fit of the shoe tends to hold up pretty well. If you are in between sizes, I recommend you try a half size up just because the shoe can run a little bit tight. Price, $110. That's a fine price. But as someone who is, again, leaning towards the previous version, which you can find for $70 to $80 online in places, depending on if they have your size, I would still reach for those rather than the $110 new version. And I will also point out that there is the Dunkin' Donuts colorway of the Kinvara 9 out there right now because the Boston Marathon is coming up. And if you're spending $300 on those things, which is what they're apparently going for on eBay, where are your priorities? Get the plain looking $110 and spend those other $200 on donuts or race entry into the Rock and Roll Seattle Half Marathon. Still bitter. And finally, looks. I'm not into this color version. I think the red and orange version that's also available in the Kinvara 9 for men is a bit better looking. These definitely have that therapeutic shoe vibe going on for me. They're not very exciting. The Dunkin' Donuts version, to each their own. What you spend your money on is your choice. But overall, I'm just not pleased with the looks of this version. Bringing me to my final point, is the Kinvara 9 a buy, a try, or a why? I will continue to give the Kinvara a buy. I think it is one of those shoes that's going to be great for a lot of different people's feet. It can help you go long distances. It can help you in shorter distances. It's that great in-between shoe that can work in all sorts of situations. If you haven't already, give the Kinvara a try. If you are familiar with the Kinvara series, the new version's a buy, but if you can get your hands on version 8, I would definitely buy that. Yeah, that's it for today's review. In the comments below, what are your thoughts on the Kinvara 9? Do you feel the same way about it as I do? Are you raising your fisticuffs at me, as many people tend to do? Let's hear your opinions in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. New stuff coming every single week. And of course, social media, check it out. It's a thing. If you want to help keep the channel alive, lights on, and the mic's hot, visit patreon.com/thegingerrunner for as little as $1 a month. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. We have a lot of shoes going through the gauntlet right now, so expect a lot more reviews in the future and some really cool videos coming up over the next 2 weeks. Get out there, train hard, race harder, and party the hardest. You guys are fantastic. We'll see you next week. Okay? Oh, bye-bye.